Hey everyone, Denise here from Sewlimitless, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the faux leather biker jacket that I just made. So let's get started. First of all, let me welcome you back to the channel if you are returning. If you're new here, then hi, my name is Denise and I want to talk about this jacket that I made. This is it here. It is not like a powder blue almost faux leather jacket that I did as my latest Minerva project. Now, most of you know I am a Minerva maker and a Minerva brand ambassador. Therefore, I'm gifted fabric by them and I make whatever with that fabric. So what I chose this time around, as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted to do a biker jacket. Now, this is one that I have done before. I've made this pattern before. This is a BurdaStyle pattern. It's from March of 2019. And as I said, I've done this before. I really loved the jacket that I had made the first time. And I always knew I wanted to do it again. So I had actually kept the muslin that I made from that jacket. And I did make some changes to it. And I did some pictures and I think a little video showing that that jacket, me wearing that, because I did make a change. I needed to do a full bust adjustment on one of the pieces. I was able to get this done without too much stress. But if you are not familiar, first of all, with BurdaStyle Magazine, they have these pattern sheets. They're lettered A, B, C, and D, and you pull them out, like this is sheet C here. You pull them out of the magazine and you read in the line drawings where they tell you where to find the pattern. For example, for this jacket, it says here red pattern line sheet A. So as I said, each sheet, there's 4 of them, A, B, C, and D. You find sheet A and make sure that you include the markings that are on that particular piece, which they have a little drawing here for each pattern, and each seam is numbered, so you put your numbered seams together and you have instructions which tell you what to do. Working with the faux leather, this is only the second time that I have done that, so I had some notes here on what that process was for me. Now, first things I knew I was going to do is use my clips, because what you want to make sure is that you are not putting extra holes. So with these clips, one thing about these is the clear side goes down because the clear side is straight. That's the edge that goes on the bottom, because then you're keeping your fabric pretty flat. So always remember that when you're working with the clips. So you don't want to do a lot of pins in the faux leather. I used a jersey needle, a number 12 jersey needle, which worked out just fine. I wanted something that was going to be sufficient enough to get through the fabric. It is not a thick fabric and it's very soft, like really, really supple and soft, and it feels fantastic. I didn't want to use a jean needle. Like a lot of things that I did read online say to use a jean needle. I would not use a jean needle because to me that's going to be too big, and I didn't need a needle that big. It's not like going through denim at all. Even with installing the zippers and all of that, it's more like a knit than going through heavy denim. So I used the jersey needle and that worked great. As I said, I used the clips. Now I did use like about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's another thing with the BurdaStyle patterns, there is no seam allowance. With the BurdaStyle Magazine patterns, I should say, there is no seam allowance. So when you're tracing the patterns, you do have to add a seam allowance. So basically my process for using BurdaStyle Magazine patterns is I just trace the pattern and then I make sure to leave enough room on the paper in order to add seam allowance. I have these 2 rulers, and these rulers are for adding seam allowance to BurdaStyle patterns. I believe these are, yeah, this is a 5/8 inch wide. Both of these are 5/8 of an inch wide, and I can leave you a link to these if you like. These are nice rulers actually to have regardless of whether or not you are adding seam allowance. They're great to have if you are making any sort of alterations or adjustments to your pattern. They are really good for that. So I'll try to leave you a link for those as well. Those rulers make it easier when you're tracing and you do need to add seam allowance in. Working with the faux leather was not difficult at all. I did not pre-treat this fabric. You know, I always tell you, I always wash my fabric. I didn't do it with this because I figured there was no need for that. So I did not do that, and I'm not anticipating any kind of problems or anything with not having treated the fabric ahead of time. I did use 2 remnant pieces that I have for the lining, and I have a picture of the jacket inside out Here is the Minerva site. Here it is called Cornflower, and yes, that's what it is, Cornflower Blue. And it says Minerva Core Range Soft, Supple Stretch Faux Leather Fabric. And it does have some stretch to it. It's very, very soft and very supple. Those are very correct. It's really, really nice. And actually quite easy to work with. Like I said, this is only the second time I have ever worked with faux leather. So it's not something like a denim or whatever that I'm much more familiar with. I did not use any interfacing in making the jacket. You have to be very careful about pressing faux leather. When I did press the fabric, I used a doubled over press cloth, and my press cloth is a piece of muslin fabric. I used a wool setting, so it was warm but not hot, and I did use steam. And then I have a tailor's clapper, and I would put that down on it, so that would help to keep some of the seams flattened. It worked okay, but with the faux leather, you're not going to get, it's not like a denim or any other fabric or a knit, where you're going to get a crispy edge, a nice crisp, flat, tailored look. You're not going to get that from this type of fabric, but that's just the nature of the fabric. You're not going to be able to do anything about that. So I did the best I could considering the fabric that I was using. Everything else worked out well. I did not have any issues with putting the zipper in, but yeah, I am very happy with the results. I'm very pleased with how the jacket turned out. I think I've got a winner here, but that is it for this video. If you have any questions or comments about anything that you've seen in the video, please leave it down below. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe to my channel. It actually will help to push my content out to other people who might be interested in my sewing and whatnot. And yeah, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. But I do thank you all for watching. I say take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.